Let's go.
Hello. I counted. I hope that was right. Welcome to the beta test of Ominous called The Ruins of the Ravenous.
Dun dun dun.
I am Emily. I'm the architect of this game in multiple ways. I wrote it. And we're going to try to play it. So we'll see how that goes. But first, I have some announcements. First, our sponsor for tonight is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca and use the code TheVoctaire, all one word, at checkout for 15% off your order. Maggie's dice pick this week is Demon Eye Dice, because when you look into the dice hoard looks back. That's not unsettling at all. You want your dice staring at you.
Like
Go
they
pick up
do.
a set
This
of those.
is a demon eye dice from themselves. Canadian dice.
Heck yes.
Yep.
Next, be sure to check out our merch store at tinyurl.com/vac merch. You can get excellent designs like Half Orc Energy and the Vac Blob, and there are 2 new Spooktober designs by Affy that the proceeds of those go toward our fundraiser, which happens all month this month. During Spooktober, we're raising money for ExtraLife4Kids. Last year was a crazy month-long fundraiser ending with a 12-hour organized chaos drop-in, drop-out stream, and we raised just over $1,300, so we hope to do that again this year and maybe exceed it. I think we're about halfway right now, and we're about halfway through the month, so make sure to get those donations in. You can find the link at www.tinyurl.com/Vactaire ExtraLife 2023.
What was that again?
So,
Can you repeat?
I can. You can also find the link in the chat or under the video, but the link is www.tinyurl.com/Vactaire ExtraLife 2023. You can choose a DM to donate to. There's a little bit of a competition going on. And yeah, your money will go to children's hospitals all across US and Canada to make life a little easier for kids in tough health situations. So make sure you donate. Give them fun things to look forward to. Okay. Then tomorrow night, that's Wednesday, in case you're watching this later. Wednesday the 18th, we have at 8:30 on this channel, Pumpkin Spice for a Basic Witch with Queen Mother GM. I believe that's Monster of the Week. Also tomorrow night, Aphemus, Jeremy, and Sly are over on Cantrips and Coffee for the Society at 9 p.m. So if you're really ambitious, you could watch both at the same time and see how much you can keep track of. Try it. See what happens. Thursday is our A Song of Crystal and Shadow, which is a Final Fantasy game that starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on this channel. Friday, we go back to Fixius 5 at 8:30 Eastern. Saturday in the morning at 11:30 a.m. is Together Among the Stars. Do we have a guest for that yet?
Probably. I have no idea who it is.
Probably. There's probably a guest. Watch the game. It's really fun.
A surprise guest. Yes.
Surprise guest. Saturday morning at 11:30. And then in the evening, we're having a makeup stream for Backpacker's Guide with me and Artemis at 7 p.m. And hopefully technology is nicer to us. Sunday afternoon is my second one-shot because I'm not busy enough this week. It's The Forge of Eons with me as the game master. That's a Candela Obscura game at 1 p.m. Then Sunday evening, Aphemus will be on DM Jeremy's channel for Legacy of Fire at 7:30. And then Monday, we are back here for Mistwalkers at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course, always find our podcast wherever you download your podcasts from. We're probably there. Okay, that's the end of the announcements. I'm gonna take a second to blow my nose, so hang on.
But you didn't say the thing. You didn't make the joke like everybody else does. About how you have to pause for 2 seconds so Artemis can cut.
Oh no, I just did a visible count so that everybody that's watching can be confused as to why I'm counting to myself. Okay. That's the announcements. That's everything. And I'm ready to start if you are. We're okay. I'm gonna do a little intro and then you can describe your character, so bear with me for a moment. Take a sip of water because my mouth is dry. Okay. The planet Delve is peppered with subterranean communities. Underground is often the safest place to be, even 500 years after the devastation. An event so thoroughly destructive, it wiped both the planet and the minds of its survivors of most of its civilization, resources, and history. There is no one left with any memory at all of what happened in those days, yet the people of this place have adapted well to survive the harsh conditions. Even so, with all that you have gained in half a millennia, many struggles still plague the lives of delvers. Clean and accessible food and water are hard to come by, and civil unrest is common. Strange illnesses sweep through communities with no warning and no apparent cause or cure. One such illness is now impacting your community, but instead of fading away just as quickly and mysteriously as it arrived, the effects of this illness are lingering and gradually becoming more severe. It starts with a general sleeplessness. Those unfortunate enough to come down with this disease rapidly develop dark circles around their eyes and an appetite for rock and dust instead of food. Now, food, as scarce as it is still necessary for life, and the gradual impact of this illness and its various symptoms is taking a toll on the health of those infected and the health of the community as a whole. And so, a few of you strong and healthy enough to venture out onto the surface have been sent to find anything that could contribute to a cure. And as strong as and as healthy as you are, why don't we go around so you can describe your characters? Who would like to go first? I wasn't watching who was last.
I nearly stuck my finger in my nose that time with the long nails. That would have been bad.
Don't stab yourself with your
Okay.
nails.
I can
Artemis
go.
is-
It's okay. Oh, Artemis! Boo! Okay. Right. So I am Xephyr, and I am a harpy. I have mottled dark feathers on my lower half with large dark crow-like feet, wings, and grayish skin with tattoos over it, and short spiky hair and pointed ears, black eyes. Yep, wearing some kind of ripped t-shirt that I found someplace. The end.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Is that it? Anything else?
I think
And tell us
so.
about yourself too, because
Yes.
you know,
Okay.
being played by.
Firm believer in community. I love scavenging when I can, but I'm sure everyone does because this is probably the world we live in. Yeah, dedicated to bettering the health of those around me, especially those that are afflicted.
Okay, cool. And your real human name is
Elissa.
Irrelevant. We're not talking about
Unimportant.
You don't exist now.
I will not tell you. Yep.
A secret. No. Okay. Who's next? Anyone? Volunteers?
I can go.
Okay.
Artemis says, "Where are you from, Elissa?"
Montreal. Hailing from Montreal. Or do you mean my character? I'm
No,
confused now.
Where do people find you?
Your
What do
social
you do?
medias.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram or in
Plug
Montreal. One of those two things. Whatever. I'm around.
Don't dox Elissa.
Please.
Please.
The only person doxing Elissa tonight is Elissa.
Thanks, Rick. Helpful.
Anyway, yeah, well, I'll follow that. Thank you for setting the bar.
As low as I could.
That's usually
Okay.
my responsibility. Yeah, I'm Rick. I'm the game master for the Hammer of the Gods podcast, and I'm here a lot. And I'm playing Steve. Steve uses any pronouns because I don't even know if they know what they are. Steve's, I guess, special thing about them is like they're super just generic, do not stand out from the crowd at all, and they glow in the dark.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's it. That's Steve. Oh, and he has a stick. It may or may not be a hockey stick.
No, it's not.
How does-
Well, it might be hockey shaped.
Is it a science stick?
Mm,
No, that's a different game.
Is it though?
He's not Steve Brackett.
this could be a planet that we discover though.
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
This weekend
Never
on
know.
Together Among the Stars, Saturday morning. On the
Also,
phone there.
Visit the planet Dove.
Zephyr's pronouns. Zephyr's pronouns. She, they. I forgot to mention it earlier.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for. Yep.
Raising the bar slightly. Just this.
Like. Belatedly. Okay, I'm done.
All right, who's
I
next?
guess I'll go next.
Great.
So my character's name is Malachite, or Mally for short. They use they them pronouns, and they were born and raised in a cave system that has a high amount of copper. So they look like a little yellow. They look a little jaundiced. Their hair is like crinkly and green. Their eyes have like the copper rings around the irises. She doesn't have the best eyesight, but she has phenomenal hearing. And I'm Alana, also known as Asparagus, Dr. Asparagus. I'm on the back here Discord,
Heck yes.
occasionally on random guest spots. Pretty much it.
Sweet. Yeah. All right, Kayla.
Me. I'm Kayla. I'm from the Potions and Potpourri podcast primarily, but I'm also part of the Voctaire and Even Footing Games blob. You can find me on all those people's games, also on most of Rick's Pandora's stuff and other various side projects for Hammer of the Gods. And I am playing Divinia, who also uses they, them pronouns. They have one like cyclops eye, like both of their eyes morph together into one big eye. And then they have on their left arm, instead of a human arm, it's a tentacle. I don't know if Divinia had a special power, but I would imagine maybe she has pretty good vision if she's got the big cyclops eye.
Yeah.
Or
And maybe
like,
the
good-
ability to climb well because you have
Yeah.
suction cups or something.
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe like some future vision with the eye.
Ooh, yeah. All right. Woo! I'm not nervous at all.
No, I know you're not. It's totally fine.
Totally not. This, just a little background for everybody. This is a game that I invented. So we're gonna see how it goes. Basically, when prompted, people will roll 3d6 to see what kind of a random premonition or vision they get. in this post-apocalyptic world called Delve. And I'm here a lot of times and also run stuff, and that's what I'm doing now. So now that we've gotten that done, we'll get started. You all have been selected to go out to try to find elements that can be combined for a cure to this disease. You emerge from your home out into the light of day, if you can call it that. As per usual, the sky is gray and you see storms off in the distance. It's hard to tell if they're coming your direction or not, but even if they are, it is irrelevant. You have a job to do. My question now, as the architect of this game and of the many omens you will receive over the next few hours, is what are you looking for first? Would you like to find an area of growth, some ruins with hidden secrets, or something else entirely?
Ruins.
Ruins. I definitely didn't set it up to roll randomly to see what you find first. So the first thing that you notice as you're traveling is that, and you would know this because you've been out on the surface before, the surface of Delve it looks like it has been scraped with an exfoliating, like, soap. Like, it's all been smoothed and worn down. There are rocky outcroppings, like that's where the cave systems are. That's where you find the entrances to these caverns where you stay safe. And there is some vegetation that has survived. And there are some ruins left, but everything's very worn down. It's very gray. It's barren for a lot of the surface of this planet. And as you're walking along, like, it's not a large planet. It's quite small. And so it's just, you can see things in the distance relatively well. Like, there might be some trees far off in the distance to the left. You might see the surface of a body of water to the right, but water that's in the seas, as they call them, there aren't very many, and they're usually not super clean. The cleanest water comes from storms. And so you're kind of walking around, and you're constantly keeping your eyes on a swivel for any kind of surface creatures that are out here, because they are very dangerous. And if anyone would like to see how the first bit of travel goes, someone roll 3d6 for me.
Ooh,
Steve
the
would like to
first
find some animals.
roll. First roll
Steve
of
would
the
like
new
to find some
game.
animals.
Yeah, Steve would like to find some animals.
He has no fear of animals. They're all his friends, whether they know it or not. That is 355.
355.
So 13.
This is okay, so you're walking along, and Steve, you get kind of a flash in your mind, and this happens all the time. Like, people on this planet get random visions. You don't have any context for what they mean. It's like a remnant, a relic of the old civilization, that basically, and you don't know anything about whatever their religion was, whatever their culture was, but you get like these visions it's like from a different time. You don't have any context for it. And as you're walking along, you get this image of a deep, dark, enclosed place with, and like the way is blocked and you can't escape.
So home.
Kind of, but it's much smaller. And it's much more. It's like a prison. Like you're trapped.
Yeah, like Artemis said, Mass Effect, but if it was made by the Silent Hill people.
Sure. I don't know what either of those things mean, but
That's
that
okay.
probably is accurate.
Yeah, see, like I'm getting the intrusive thoughts again. He's just like got his arms out to both sides.
It
Just, like,
does give you
stops.
a bad feeling.
It's not a good feeling.
As you kind of look around,
So you're muted.
as you look around, you kind of see in the distance, there's like, it looks like a boulder is moving towards you.
It's a nice boulder.
Yeah.
Is the boulder moving towards us, or are we moving towards it?
Little bit of both. And you can feel like a distant rumbling coming from that direction. You know that the creatures that exist on the surface are not whatever they used to be. Like, they are dangerous, unpredictable. They can take many, many forms, so not sure what this is, but it could be anything.
I mean, it's the whole appeal. They could be anything I want.
That's true. And it is coming towards you. It does seem like it has changed directions as you've been walking. Like it can sense there's something else up here.
I'm gonna wave my pocket stick.
So it can see us better?
Mhm.
Good plan.
Great.
I'm going to fly in the air and go see what's going on. Check it out.
Okay.
So it can also see better.
I can wave at it too if you want.
Okay. As you start to head that direction, roll 3d6.
Okay. 2, 4, and 5.
Okay. You also get a flash as you're flying towards this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this feeling of like it's like you've been separated from something precious.
Okay.
Or the feeling like you've lost something. And again, it's not a good feeling. It's a very bad feeling.
And it seems to be connected to this boulder now?
That's what you think?
Hmm.
Do we know what we're
Okay.
looking for the items for the cure?
Not exactly, because when these illnesses pop up, usually they go away on their own. And for the most part, you don't have to find anything. So when something sticks around long enough that you would need to go find something, it is at the point where you would need, like, you just kind of have to figure it out. You just kind of have to guess.
We're just going on vibes. Got it.
Yep,
It's just straight vibes.
good vibes only.
No, not good
Well,
vibes
not good
only.
vibes only, but no, you just kind of have to go on like
Intuition.
your own intuition and whatever stray visions you may
Great.
get.
Shooting in the dark.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
Zephyr, as you're
Mally,
yes,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, Mally is blind as a bat, quite frankly. So she's just kind of like wandering in one direction, has like no idea that there is like she can hear it, moving,
Mm-hmm.
but she's been able to hear it moving since before they got to the surface, so it just becomes like white noise to her.
Yeah.
So they're just walking in like a random direction, and no one's paying
Okay.
attention to them. They are just walking off.
I'll say you notice something in the sound of this all at like the same time that Xephyr is in the air getting a closer look at this thing. It looks like from the ground, it looks like a boulder that's just like scraping along the surface, but what you hear and what Xephyr sees are like extremely long claws that look like they're made of rock, and it is like pulling itself forward, and you could hear the like it's almost like stone on stone scraping. Yep. And Xephyr, you see this from above. You see these like they're like long, jagged claws that like pull it along the ground.
Is it moving?
Yep.
Whoa.
Quickly from the sound of things.
It is
Whoa.
coming towards you.
We could just
Hey!
like, step out of the way, right?
Hey, can you hear me down there?
Us or the boulder?
Oh.
The boulder.
Mally just stops and looks up. Be like, why am I?
Hey, Melly!
Okay,
Hi,
hold on.
Doctor.
Let me see something. Okay.
Why does it
Whatever
sound like
this.
you're flying?
I am flying.
Oh.
You don't get to do
As-
that much underground.
As you
No, true.
as you like shout and you're kind of above it, it stops and you see it push up off the ground, so it looks you know the like really big standing stones in Scandinavia that like the menhirs that are like huge and tall and look impossible, like the stones that are a part of like Stonehenge and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It as it like pushes itself up so that it looks like one of those, but then you see a face on it. It has just like dark pits for eyes. And its mouth is like kind of this downturned line with just jagged, sharp rock teeth. And it kind of looks around. It's like big claw arms are standing at its side, and it's like it doesn't seem like it can look all the way up. And
Okay.
so it's just standing and kind of like turning.
So nightmare armadillo. Gotcha.
I come down
Yeah.
within visual range of it, but like back far enough that I'm not within claw range of it.
Okay. Like 20 feet away, maybe.
Sure. And I'm like, hey, how are you?
Steve's gonna go like right up to it, and he's just gonna have his arms out and be like, "You look like you need a hug, buddy."
With my hockey stick.
Yeah.
Mally is still just like turning in circles. Like, I don't know where anyone is. What the hell is going on?
It's just like
Just looking around. Not that it does
Steve-
anything. I can't see.
Steve, you probably don't want to touch that rock. It could squish you or claw you or poison you or any number of things, really.
Why do I hear growling?
you do
don't
hear growling too. It's like it's like rocks jumbling together a little bit.
No, my new friend is just purring really loudly and aggressively.
It's a boulder cat.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Totally.
I've
Except
heard of
for
these
cuddling.
before.
Yeah, thus the sharp teeth and claws.
Yeah.
Um
Watch out for his tail.
it look I think it looks to Xephyr first because Xephyr was speaking, and then Mally says something, or like Steve says something, Mally says something, and Divinia says something, and it's just kind of like looking between the sounds. And it kind of like, without laying down again, it sinks its like claw arms to sit flat on the ground, like it's feeling something.
Can I do that? Can I put my hands on the ground
Sure.
too and see if I feel anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll 3d6.
My hand, yeah.
Yeah. Your hand and your
And-
tentacle.
Is
Actually,
this
your tentacle might be sensitive to vibration. That,
Maybe.
That's
is a
true.
thing.
Could be.
are we doing 3 separate numbers or are you adding them together?
Yeah, 3 separate numbers.
Okay. I got a 12. Oh, sorry, 651.
651.
Hey, Emily, did you still want them in like numerical order like we did before? Just
You don't have to. I have them organized that way, but it doesn't matter.
no.
Okay,
I just wanted to
156.
check.
Okay. How do I explain this? You get a flash of this. It's almost like a vision of this thing. It has been beaten back by storms. It has been attacked by other surface creatures. And so for this one in particular, I'm going to tell you like what, because each of these roles that I have has an associated set of 3 words. And this is a neutral omen, so it's neither good nor bad. But the words that are associated with this role are comprehension, absorption, and integration. And I think you get a very clear understanding that this creature, as terrifying as it looks, it was coming towards you because it could feel you through the ground, and it was trying to be like proactive in its own defense, if that makes sense.
Oh.
And when you started talking to it, and when talking to each other, the roll that I made for the creature was also a neutral omen, and it was the words emotion, sympathy, and sentiment. And I think you get the idea that whatever this creature is now, it may not have always been this. And hearing your voices and your kind of positive tones, I think it can tell that you're not threatening it.
Oh, Steve's gonna hug it immediately.
Wouldn't recommend, Steve. It's my understanding that this creature is just not going to bother us if we don't bother it. So, you know, we'll be on our way, it'll be on its way, and that'll be the end of it, I think. It could really easily fuck us up otherwise.
I'm not bothering it with my friendship. I just want to be friends.
Well,
It's
if you
gonna
can't,
be-
if you can't
Oh,
ask it
rumbling
for
getting
permission
louder?
for hugs, then I would recommend not hugging it.
Is the rumbling getting louder? No. You can feel that it is getting quieter. And it almost seems like whatever this creature is, it's trying to take everything in.
You said it has like black pits for eyes. Do they blink or is it unblinking?
Unblinking. It's almost like someone drilled some holes into a rock.
I'm just gonna look up and be like, give me a thumbs up if I can hug you. And I demonstrate.
Doesn't even know what hugs are.
It kind of turns to you, and you know how raccoons have thumbs, but they're not like opposable thumbs? They're like, it kind of just picks up all its claws and goes like this.
Oh, as soon as I see that, I'm hugging it.
It's so neutral.
That's close enough. It's close enough. It looks like a yes in its language.
Okay. You give it a hug. It is a little bit surprised, but it doesn't attack you. And I think, okay, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this?
Now that the rumbling has died down, so you said it's getting quieter, Mally now realizes that she's not with the rest of the group, and so she can hear everyone talking, so she's like, oh, I am completely in the wrong spot right now. And
you can
their way to the group.
Yes, and you would be able to see like the shape of this large, because I know you said your vision's not great, but if you can see like the shapes, and you can kind of tell directionally where the sound was coming from. And so you see like this large shape, and the shape of Steve up against it.
Like, I feel that the shape would be big enough, like the creature would be big enough, but Steve is just like a blurb of color on like this grayish round backdrop.
Nice. Yeah, I think that you would see that little like pop of color. And as you're kind of you've like turned your attention that way, and are you starting to walk towards them as well? To like catch up?
I think so, but I don't feel like Mally is a person that would move quickly on the surface because she can't hear her surroundings as well as you could like in a cave.
Sure.
So
echolocation.
So they a little bit like echolocation.
Yeah.
So they kind of just start stumbling towards the party, like baby steps at a time.
As you're walking that way, you hear a shift in the sound, and it's almost like you almost start to hear like tiny bits of dust falling. Like, you know that like tinkly sound of just really tiny like sand and dust? And you hear it almost before anyone sees it, but layers of dust start to fall off of this thing. And as you're kind of hugging it, Steve, it starts more rapidly to fall away from under your hands until it like dust just kind of settles in a cloud on the ground, and you see a little bit of like faint green light, and then it just kind of dissipates.
Steve, what did you do? I told you shouldn't hug
Where did
it.
the boulder go?
I think I made it better.
Maybe.
Well, we'll never know now. And I just start kind of like clapping for Malachite, so that way they can find us. I'm like, over here, Mally. Come on, this way. We're over here.
Oh, there you guys are. Okay.
Sorry, we got ahead of you a little bit.
Does their little, like, I'm not gonna call it a waddle, but like they definitely go side to side when they walk.
That's cute.
Because between like the open space, the even ground, and the fact that everyone just kind of blurs into the background, they're like looking for like random pops of color, which is why the boulder was great, but someone took the boulder's no longer there. So
yeah.
Someone
Someone
loved
freed
it
the
to
boulder.
death.
Yeah, someone freed the boulder with friendship.
There you go.
Is that what you're calling it?
Is the narrative that we're
This
making
is-
tonight?
I just want you to think about the fact that this is supposed to be a horror game.
Liberated by love. Too
Spooktober.
much love.
So did we
What
notice
is-
the green light?
Yeah. And even Mally would have noticed that because it's such a different color. Like, even just a mist of this kind of like green light, it's such a different color from the rest of the surroundings. Like, everything is gray and brown and drab and...
I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It reminds me of the stalagmites. They're very similar color,
Mm-hmm.
but those are natural, and I've never seen it in a faint form like that.
Fair.
All right.
Is Zephyr still flying, or has Zephyr landed?
I've kind of come down closer to the ground at this point. I'm kind of
Because
fluttering
I feel like
around.
I would be able to pick Zephyr out because Zephyr is a different color than the rest of the background.
Well,
Mhm.
Steve is a different color. Now he's very gray from all the rock dust.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not normally that gray.
Right, but he would
I-
blend into the background if the background is brown and gray.
Well, now you do.
It's different.
Natural camouflage.
Yeah.
All right. You continue on trying to find anything of note, any kind of ruin, and at this point you would notice something that's not common when it comes to the ruins of this planet. A large open space lies ahead of you, and rising up from that space is a large kind of pavilion-shaped building made from pink stone. It's difficult to tell whether this was once sheltered or if the material itself preserved it, but whatever happened or didn't happen, this thing is still standing. It's very large. It's kind of a brighter pink, and it's just kind of off in a very open space.
Do you think that was for?
Steve's just like, I'll race you there.
I'm actually quite fast. Let's go. And then they start running.
So once again, Mally gets left in the dust.
Literally this time.
Slowly
Yeah.
ambling towards this large pink structure. I know that this is a weird question, but can Mally lick the structure?
Sure.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. I was gonna do that too.
As you get up there and you lick it, it's definitely a very mineral taste. There might be a little bit of salt in there. But just from the
It's like
mineral
limestone.
composition, yeah, a little bit. And just from the mineral composition of where you grew up as well, you would know that this is very hard material. Maybe pink granite or quartz almost, and it's very large. Once you get up to it, it's the roof of it is 20, 30 feet tall, and it's this big open space, and you see kind of some different rectangular shapes closer to the ground. And
it's all made out of this material?
yeah, and it has a very the smell of when it rains and you can smell
Mhm.
rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
If this makes sense to
Yeah.
anybody.
I know exactly
Like,
what you're talking about.
It has
That
the
kinda
smell
wet,
of
dirty smell.
yeah, freshly
pepper?
rained, yeah, kind of freshly rained on stone, and earth, and that kind of cool, wet feeling. And it's very quiet, but you can kind of hear the faint breeze whistling through these kind of arch-shaped pavilions.
Okay.
And you're free to
Is
look
the-
around.
say smooth? Like, can I feel it that it is smooth or rough or?
It is smooth. It's like, how do okay, this is kind of a weird comparison, but you know the pavilions that you have at like a park where it's like a picnic pavilion?
Mhm.
It's like that, but massive and made of stone.
Gotcha. Okay.
Maybe it was like a marketplace or some sort of central building.
Right. But the stone is smooth, which tells Mally that people that built this could either cut stone smooth,
Yeah.
or there was somehow, because they know that rocks aren't smooth naturally, or there's been enough water for it to smooth the sides, but that doesn't make sense because everything else seems intact.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she just
And it's
filed
not-
this information away.
It's not like, because this landscape has such a like a sandblasted feel to it, where everything's been worn down by storms and stuff. But this is smoother even than that. It's like polished.
It doesn't have like the smooth grit that you would associate with like a pumice stone, for example.
Right. Right.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
No, you're welcome to look around if anyone wants
Yeah.
to make some rolls to see what you
Well, I would-
find.
Before we do that, I would like to know who won the race.
Oh yeah, it's very
Ooh,
important.
well, okay, then both of you should roll for that first.
3 d6s.
Yes.
1, 2, 5.
I got 2, 4, 6.
Oh, dang. What are the odds? What are the odds? It's very close. 1, 2, 5, and 2, 4, 6.
Mhm.
I win by sticking my tentacle out in front of her.
Actually, I'm going to say that Steve wins barely.
Ugh, even with my
So,
tentacle
Steve-
out? Damn it.
Steve doesn't really want to win. They just
Oh.
want to make it close.
Okay, well, it's definitely close because you both got good omens.
So we tie.
You feel like as you're running together, you feel this like fondness and bond toward one another that only living in a somewhat traumatic post-apocalyptic setting could really create.
Yay, trauma bonding.
Yay. And yeah, it's too close to tell.
Good
As
race,
we tie,
Steve. Good race.
Steve just like, hi, tentacle. Holds his hand up.
I think Divinia wants to like stand directly in the center of this thing and just like look like straight through. It's
Okay.
not enclosed, is it? It's like pillars.
No, it's very
okay.
open. It's like
So
an
they
open
wanna
air.
look like straight through and just kind of like see what the like line of sight is. You know,
Okay.
like why is it set up here?
Go ahead and make a
Zephyr is
roll
very
for that.
confused as to why Mally is literally flat to the stone. Like,
Yeah, if everyone wants to roll, we'll see if you find anything.
Okay.
Because you're all kind of looking for different things. And yeah, let me know like what you're looking for, because Mally's like up against the stone.
I guess I'm kind of like investigating like the placement of this place.
Okay. Okay.
And I got 2, 2, 3, by the way.
Just in trying to get a feeling for what this place was meant for, as you're kind of standing here in the center of it and like looking around, kind of reflecting on the placement of it, the layout of it, you, because like the visions aren't always visual, so calling them visions is it's like a premonition of sorts, and you get this sensation almost like as you're standing here of bodies brushing by you, a bustling movement through this place, echoes of voices that are like negotiating prices. And you also get the feeling that that's like during the daytime, and then at nighttime sometimes it's like many people sitting still watching lights and listening to music, and so it's almost like a dual purpose kind of place.
This seems like a place
Marketplace.
of great import.
Yep.
What were they importing?
No, like it was important to people, I think. But they could have been
I
importing
rolled-
as well.
How was it important?
I rolled 334.
334. Okay. As you're like feeling the building and you're
Mally is like, there is no space between her and this wall. She is like full bodily against this thing.
okay.
Trying to figure out what it's made out of, if she can feel anything through the stone. Like,
Yeah. You feel you start to feel, first of all, similar things to what Divinia felt. Like people moving about, and then like as you're kind of like flat up against this surface, you feel as if there was a massive earthquake. You hear distant echoes of screams. You feel fear, pain, despair, and you sense like people trying to hide, trying to find a place that's safe, but this place, because it's so open,
it's not.
is not. And there's like stone, like almost tables or counters. You feel this sensation of like people in distress trying to get under the counters. There's not enough room for everybody because it's a busy place. And others just running off.
I feel like once this happens, she like throws herself away from the wall, like onto the ground, and just like takes a second to absorb in everything.
Yeah.
And then she just says, guys, I don't think we should be here.
Hi, what did you feel?
There was people, and there was music, but then there was screaming, and there was pain, and like the ground beneath us was roiling like the sea.
But it's not doing that now.
The ground is safe. We live under the ground.
Do you think it was from the past?
Yeah, I mean, the ground is our friend.
That's what you said before you hugged the boulder and killed it.
I think everything is
shots
Steve's
fired.
friend.
Kill it. I didn't kill it. It's free now.
We don't know what happened to it.
Hmm.
It's a mystery.
No,
Maybe
but
that
I-
green Maybe that green spirit infected Steve. We'll never know.
Who's to say?
It could have been mushroom
Mutations to
spores.
come.
That is true.
What else we got for rolls?
I got a 3, 4, 6.
Okay. I think, what are you doing as you're exploring this place?
Are you still
I'm-
in flight?
No, I'm down now. I'm hopping around and trying to see if there are any doors into anywheres or hidden passageways, that sort of stuff.
Thing. Okay. As you're kind of hopping around, you don't see any doors, but you can, like, your claws on the ground, it's kind of like a paved area with the same kind of pink stone,
Mm-hmm.
and you like hop on a spot. Since your claws make this kind of like tink tink sound on the stone, you can hear when the sound changes, and you can like feel it, that if there's like something hollow underneath, and you find a spot that has like a hollow spot under it.
Okay. Like I lift something up and there's a hollow spot underneath it, or like
Mhm.
there might be
Yeah.
a passageway under something I'm standing on.
It sounds like there's a hollow spot under one particular tile.
Okay, I try to get that tile up.
As you're like kind of prying at it with whatever tools you have to try to lift this, you get this flash of like someone performing for children, and like giggles and laughter, and there's this kind of, you're like, you lift it up, and there's this kind of like ball that it's made of the same kind of pink stone, but it's got like a groove around the center, and there seems to be some sort of leather cord that's been protected from the elements in this pocket, with two hard kind of shiny gray rods on either side, and when you pick it up and pull at it, it like the stone in the center kind of spins, and you see another kind of pink glow come out from it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it smells a little like flowers, which you don't smell very often, so it's a
Sure.
nice smell.
Okay. Pick it up
What
and
on
keep it
earth
with me.
is that scratching noise?
Pavement.
What scratching noise?
And you just scratch louder.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Like,
Tink, tink,
are we
tink.
sure that the ground is safe? Where's that scratching coming from? Meanwhile,
It
Just-
seems fine over here.
Look,
It's like the scene from Tarzan. Are you sure this water's sanitary?
It looks
Wow.
questionable to me.
but can I ask, does sound reverberate in this space?
Yes.
Against.
Um,
Okay.
not
can't find
off
it.
of. Well, you might be able to a little bit. There's not walls per se, but
Right.
there.
Echoes off the pillars and the hinges and stuff
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
like these pillars, and the roof is also this like pink stone, and there's like these domed sections where like the pillars are holding on four corners of these like rounded kind of areas, and you can like feel the sound waves bouncing off of them unique ways. What'd you get, Steve?
I got 2, 3, 6.
And what are you looking for? Anything?
I think we know.
More hugs.
More
Steve is
animal
always
friends.
looking for friends. And just they don't have to be animals. He's always looking for friends. Whether that means like signs of people, like recently or in the past, or
Okay.
anything like that, or animals, or bugs,
Or
or
animals.
microbes,
Amoeba?
maybe.
Maybe.
Germs,
Pet rocks to hug and destroy.
grits of sand.
Free.
I think you're looking for signs of people, you're looking for signs of creatures, and you get this very powerful feeling of kind of a stalwart loneliness. It's not the feeling of a person. It's more like this building, whatever it is, whatever it was, has stood for a very long time. It has been resilient against all the various elements, which you know are very harsh here. And there have not been people or creatures in this place for a very long time.
Okay, there are no friends here other than the three of you, so
We're so disappointing.
no,
Seems like you guys don't count. I already know
friends
you.
with you. Yeah, he's already
I
friends with
mean,
you. Like,
Are we
You gotta
friends?
keep
Not
adding.
for long if you keep this
I'm not sure if we've
up.
ever
Wow.
established that, you know?
wow, hurtful.
Just saying.
But
Just because
yeah,
we're from the same
Mally-
underground cavern doesn't mean that we're automatically friends, you know?
Oh,
Mally is still like curled up on the ground, being
nice.
like, "We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here." What is that scratching noise? Because it's bouncing off of everything, and she has no idea where Zephyr is.
Yeah, and
Mally, the
you-
scratching noise is just Zephyr. It's okay. I don't know about the we shouldn't be here thing, though. Maybe we should see if we can find what we need and move on soon.
You are the only one that got a bad omen, unfortunately, so that would have been not fun to experience, I'm sure. You do have a bit of a toy, but you can keep looking if you want.
Does that look like that's going to be an ingredient in the cure?
Mm.
Posture check, everyone.
Oh,
Oh, and a group hydrate.
of course.
Thanks, Artemis.
Of
Ooh,
course.
something to
Thanks,
snap
Artemis.
there.
Oh gosh, like 5 things just popped.
Yeah, same, ma'am. Same.
Ooh. Does it look like it will be a useful part of the cure?
Is this the pink thing I picked up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
You're the only one that's actually found something. Everyone else
True.
is just getting visions of good or bad or neutral things.
I head
Yeah.
to the middle of this place and start playing with it to see if it does anything, like if it interacts with the space.
I think as you're like pulling on it and it's kind of like spinning and there's this kind of pink light that's coming off of it. It kind of sends like little rays of light bouncing around the domed ceilings. And I think, Divinia, you kind of get that flash again from that vision you had of like the nighttime when people are there and they're watching something or they're like taking in a show. I'll say also two things. First, I think, Mally, you would hear a faint hum. It's not an unpleasant sound, it's almost musical. And Steve, when you glow in the dark, what does that look like?
Definitely like chartreuse. It's not super
Okay.
bright, but you know, he might be slightly irradiated, possibly.
Okay, maybe. As they are playing with this and trying to figure out what it's doing, the glow about you shifts to a warmer color.
Whoa. What? It's a.
Steve, your color changed. How'd you do that?
I don't know. I guess I'm growing as a person.
You
like
will
Mally-
make even more friends this way. This is going to be so successful.
If Mally can hear the hum, I think that they're gonna try and match the pitch and like figure out where it's actually coming from. So like they pull themselves together, like they get up and they're slowly like walking with their hand along the wall. Just,
Yeah,
Steve's,
as
solid singular note.
yeah, Steve's gonna try to like be an octave of that.
Okay.
You have
Going
no
for the-
idea why.
The horror show.
Yeah, I was gonna say
mean,
you'd.
Away we go.
even if I don't hear
You
the
think I'm
actual,
just humming?
Yeah.
but I can hear you hum, so I'm just like, oh well, let me just do that. That's how you make friends, right?
That's right. That is
Yeah.
how you make friends.
I think
We're starting Glee Club.
as Mally, as you're walking towards this sound, and Steve, you start to hum, and then Steve joins in, and they are going an octave above. You really start to hear the sound reverberate through this pavilion, and this toy, whatever it is, starts to become more melodic. And
you
it starts to get
activated
louder.
Mally, I think you figured it out.
Steve, you're
Wow.
also glowing brighter as you get closer to the toy.
I was gonna say, does it change color at all, or just brightness?
Whatever the color, this like pink color that it's glowing, is now what you are glowing also.
Ooh, it's a nice color on you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. I've always been a fan of
Any-
whatever color this is.
I'm so used to
did
the
anyone else hear
chartreuse.
the humming? So
You would all
just to
hear it now.
clarify, now we would all hear it, right? But
Yeah.
Zephyr is in the middle of this pavilion. Mally shows up and is just humming randomly. Then Steve joins in, and then something starts to happen with this little ball on a string.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a human light bulb.
Human.
Humanoid. To borrow from various systems.
I'm a meat light bulb. You're welcome.
There you go.
As you all get closer and you watch all this happen, you watch these things change, you see Steve is now, she's glowing pink instead of chartreuse. There's like almost like a disco ball effect, but it's like just little rays of light, like a laser show or something.
Ooh.
And the radius of this pink glow gets wider, and you all feel you feel a warmth. And you do think this may help in the creation of a cure.
Oh,
Do you guys
Steve's
feel
just
that
gonna,
too?
like, wave his
Yeah,
arm, like he's doing a little dance and like waving around and
I actually
just having a
feel
great
kind
time.
of good. Kind of good.
Yeah,
for
same.
Once
Mally
on
is
the
like
surface.
Mally has sat down on the floor like next to Zephyr with their eyes closed and is just like breathing and like trying to hear all of the different like tones and with like all of the different reverberations. Like she's trying to hear if there's actually something in the music.
Zephyr,
Whereas
that's a good
Steve's
find.
like,
Music
Yeah, it was
would
just
music
over
be a
there.
would music be a new concept to them if they had like a massive like global amnesia?
Oh, I honestly don't know. I mean, my philosophy as a creative person is that people, whoever they are, need creativity. As it is as necessary for life as community, as shelter. And so I think to some degree it probably does exist. It might not exist in the many myriad ways it did before, whatever that civilization was like. And this may sound like a totally different kind of music, a different kind of melody. Like maybe the music that exists for you is more like you all live in cavern systems underground, and so it's like the sound of trickling water and echoes off of stone. And this has more of a tinkling sound, like chimes. And I don't think there's a lot of metal working happening. It's in your communities. It's more whatever you find. So, that like clear bell sound might be very different to you.
as Steve is dancing, they're just like, so Divinia, do you feel the warmth of friendship now? Is that what you're feeling?
Is that what friendship feels like? I'm not really sure.
I think so.
Well,
That's what it feels
if
like for me.
If it can help us with the sickness that has suddenly affected our clan, then I guess it's worth a shot. Zephyr, I think you should hold on to that and take it back with us.
Yes, I think so too. This seems important.
Can I roll to see if the music does anything for Mally
Sure.
in terms of like telling her anything?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
366. That should be another bad omen.
It's not bad. It's not necessarily good either.
I'll take it.
It's a neutral omen. I think it does make you feel something, but maybe because it's such a different kind of music, and you might all feel this to a degree, but you may get the impact, like you specifically would get the impact of another one of these premonitions that are just like out there in the ether waiting to smack people in the face. Like this is just a part of everyday life on Delve. You get this kind of ethereal floating feeling, which might not be familiar to you because it's not safe to go swimming in the seas and like float in the water. And so you may not have experienced that kind of weightless, ethereal, kind of floating feeling, but that's how you feel from this music.
I feel like there's not much chance for R&R when you're barely surviving.
Probably not.
No, although because of her poor eyesight, she definitely would have fallen into an underground lake at some point or other. Like there's no doubt in my mind of that fact. She's like, why does this sound so different? It's like she can't see anything, so it's just, why does it sound so different down here? Face plants right into like a 2-foot deep pond.
Yeah.
In a cave system somewhere.
All right.
You hear someone yelling, damn it, Mallie, stop falling into the water source.
I think with that you found a first item, you've explored a couple spots, and we've been live for a little bit now. It's about 10 o'clock, so we are going to take a quick break. We will be back shortly. We're just gonna take a chance to refill our water, take care of pets, and maybe grab a snack, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. We'll be back. Eight? Is that 8? Are we back? Maybe?
I don't count.
Can't tell. Well, we probably are by now. I'm just gonna keep talking until I see something on the screen.
Yeah, we're there.
Are we?
Yeah.
Lord. Okay.
I love how you do the same thing that I do, like just stare at the screen until our faces are there.
Close enough. Well, yeah. It's still not back on my screen.
I can see it.
Well, I will take your word for it. Oh, there it goes. Lord. I'm fine. Okay. It's probably my computer. Okay. Last we left off, everybody was exploring this kind of pink pavilion area. The group had met a rock friend that they set free and found a cool gadget of some kind. A gadget. That's my Midwesternness coming out. And yeah, a cool gadget, a kind of pink stone ball with a groove and like these leather straps and metal handles that when you pull it, it spins and it creates this like strobing pink light. I think we were wrapping up the first spot, but you have more stuff to find. Where would you like to go next?
I mean, what's in the like surrounding area? Sorry, Kayla, I cut you off.
I mean, this must have been part of a city of some kind, so you'd probably be able to find other ruins in the vicinity. But you would also see there's kind of a field not far off, which is a little bit strange because there's not a lot of plants. But there's like kind of off to the west, there's a patch of green tinted earth, and you see like the faint outline of some kind of fragile tendrils of some kind of grass, and hear kind of the distant rustling, because normally you just hear wind whistling over like bare rocky ground, but so like the sounds and smells of any kind of green plant life would be very noticeable as well.
I mean, that sounds kind of pleasant, honestly.
Yeah.
We could use a little pick-me-up, I think.
I do love green plants.
Okay. As you head that direction, it's definitely a field. It's patchy for sure. There's kind of mosses and grasses, and you get the faint scent of like herbs of some kind. And even there's like one particular patch toward the center that has little tiny white flowers. And it's again kind of a open, wide, flat area with these patches of plants all through here.
Can I
I mean,
I want
no,
to
go ahead.
kind of delicately start walking through the field and looking more closely at each plant and seeing if there's anything that we can harvest for
Okay,
food
yeah.
or medicine, maybe.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll 3d6.
You got it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are they herbs or herbs?
1, 2, 4.
1, 2, 4. As you're kind of wandering through here, you feel this emptiness, like this either wasn't here once or won't be here soon. You're not really sure of a timeline by any means. You can see like storms getting closer. It seems like a relatively fragile ecosystem anyways. So it may not always stay, but it's here for now. But you do feel the kind of sadness and emptiness of the fact that this may go away. Might not
This
be here very
seems
long.
like a bit of an anomaly. Perhaps we should gather what we can while we're here, because we may not see this again.
Yes, I think you're right.
Steve's gonna
Tread
use the
carefully.
end of his, yeah, Steve's gonna use the end of his like hockey-shaped stick to try to dig up some plants.
Yeah.
'Cause I
I'll
assume he
let
had
you...
a backpack he could
That's a
put them
tool.
in.
Yeah,
Plants love being in dark and closed spaces.
yeah.
We know
And
that
poke-
from
poke
our
with
plants.
hockey sticks, also.
I'll let you go ahead and roll as well.
Okay. Ooh, 566.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh, what happens when you get 666?
It's a good omen, or at least it
Is it?
was, unless you
It
It
changed
is, yeah.
I got it.
Unfortunately, 566 is a bad omen.
Yeah, I suppose.
As you are, like, you pick a patch that seems promising, and as you start to kind of, like, pry under it with your stick, you get a sudden kind of bad scent. And hang on a second, I'm gonna sneeze, I think.
Steve's just like, that was not me. I don't know what that was, but
Or because I said I'm gonna sneeze, I'm not gonna sneeze.
Look at the
Making
light.
sure, because he knows it's not a good way to
Right.
make friends.
Now I'm definitely not gonna sneeze. Okay. You get this feeling of like some of these are already going bad. There's around the edges, there's some like rotting vegetation, and just it's not a bad smell necessarily, but you can like you get the image of like nothing of again that kind of emptiness, just kind of dead empty ground.
yeah. So the edge guys, I think they're dying and empty and sad, or at least I'm sad thinking about it.
I've felt that way before.
Yes, same.
Sad. Or empty.
Dying,
Both.
sad, and empty. Sometimes all at
It
once.
comes from living underground. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Gil.
No, you're right. Exactly what's going on. Anyways, should we take them or leave them, do you think?
Probably the edge ones we should leave alone.
So you go more towards the center of this field area?
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones that seem less existential crisis and doom.
Yeah, right. As you kind of go more towards the center, you're able to find some fresher plants. And as you are retrieving them, there is another kind of rumble, but it's real this time. It's not a vision or a premonition or an omen. This is the actual ground is moving.
Oh shit. Can you describe it a little bit more? Is it big rumbles?
Yeah.
Just kind of a piece of the ground moving, or?
It feels, and I would say Mally especially would be able to kind of sense almost like a radial ripple, the way that ripples happen in water. But this is stone, the typical rocky ground that most of this planet is.
I don't think
Do we
rocks are
need
supposed
to
to
be worried about sandworms.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would the act of digging into this patch of earth have caused the trembles?
I'm going to give you an answer, and I'm also going to ask you to roll, but I'm going to give you an answer before you roll too. I think, you think maybe not directly, but maybe because there are lots of dangerous creatures all over the surface. They're unpredictable. It's hard to know what will happen, and it's possible that something was watching this space to see if it attracted anything else, or it's possible that maybe digging things up didn't necessarily cause the rumble, but the rumble is coming from something that noticed you here.
Does it seem like it's moving towards us, or moving in a direction at all? Or is it just under us?
It's just kind of under you right now.
Okay.
What did you get on your roll?
2, 4, 6.
2, 4, 6. Okay. I think with that information, you're able to kind of get a closer read on where these rippling patterns are coming from, because you've realized as you're here that it's not something that was caused by us digging up these plants. It's something that saw us digging up these plants, and it's coming from that direction. And as you turn, and you're able to tell your friends over there, there are dark shapes. They look kind of like storm clouds. The storm that you thought was coming in, and the smell of impending rain might not be a storm.
Okay.
And you do feel like it's getting closer. So you're able to give some warning, and all of you can see it before anything gets too close. What would you like to do?
There's not really like anything to like hide behind, huh?
Not here.
But you did mention there were ruins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were near this like pavilion area, and you would imagine that would have been part of a settlement of some kind, so you could try to find something.
I want to start just kind of ripping up handfuls of the plants and
Okay.
putting them into our pouch.
Yeah.
And getting ready to like run.
Yeah, great.
Quickly.
Are there ruins in the direction opposite of where these storm cloud-esque beings are coming from?
Yeah, I
Or
think
do we have to go towards them to find shelter?
Because you asked that specific question, and because you got a good omen, you, like, as you are feeling these vibrations coming towards you and these like ripples, and you see these dark shapes, you can feel almost the same kind of warmth that you all felt in that pavilion with the toy, or that object, that strange object. You feel that behind you, like some kind of like safety. You get this sense of safety behind you for sure. So you can start heading that way. And
I feel like I take somebody's hand and just start running.
that's a good idea.
Or
Okay, yeah.
Or
Can I?
tentacles.
Am I able to just scoop her up and fly with her?
Sure. Yeah, you
Them?
could do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Mally, do you want to come with me?
Aren't your wings your arms? How can you pick me up and also
I have extra arms and wings. I got lots of stuff. I'm a mutation. Ever changing, I would add. Now I have 3 wings.
So
Sure.
So we could do that.
Yeah.
And Mally just tells you like you need to head in this direction, and she just points. And
Okay,
like,
I'm on it.
Yeah. As Mally says that, and you all turn to run, you see behind you, like, not all of Delve is flat. It's not completely scoured clean by the events of half a millennia. There are rocky outcroppings that exist all over, which is how so many are able to find shelter in caves and caverns. And you see a rocky outcropping ahead. This one has kind of a flattened plateau top with little ridges around the edges, and there are the remnants of a building wedged at an awkward angle between a few kind of vertical spires of rock. The rocks seem to almost have held this building together, and on the underside, as you get closer, you see a peeling painted facade that has been unaffected by weather and time, with glyphs on it that you cannot read, and there is an open kind of window hole with some kind of display table directly behind it, and you feel like it's not too far up. It's kind of being held up, but you could easily climb into it, especially with Xephyr having the ability to fly in and pull people up. So you could get in there and be protected if you would like.
I think that sounds like an excellent suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Steve still glowing, by the way?
Yes. After you stopped, kind of like you figured out some of this stuff with that object, but once the music stopped, you would still be glowing in your normal sense with your typical chartreuse color.
Oh, lame. I wanted to be pink.
Zebra stripe glow would have been even better.
Maybe with continued exposure, that might happen.
Ooh, change your color permanently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Might do.
Maybe Expose myself to radiation.
Can I ask though?
Yeah.
Because Mally has this premonition of some form,
Yeah.
does she know that it's there? Or does she just know a general direction and Zephyr like happens to see this opening?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Gotcha.
Because there's like colorful paint on the front of it, so as you get closer, like you would see that. And especially it's like the front of the building is almost like up above like this and at kind of an angle, and you're able to kind of scramble up and climb into this window. And so the building is really like tilted. It's a little bit smashed in between all these like spires of rock. But it's open inside and seems to be relatively untouched by the various weather patterns and creatures that exist here.
Let's go.
So you're able to go inside and you see materials that you don't see a lot of. There is this like display table that's kind of just inside this window, is not made of stone, which is what most things are made of in your lives. It's made of wood, and because there aren't a lot of like tree areas, and the trees that you do have are all very wild and stunted, and or like they grow in unique ways. I don't know that you would have seen very much of wood that is like flat, polished, planed.
Steve is gonna lick it.
Yeah, what the
I
hell
mean,
is this?
in the world of Delve, that's how you find stuff. You lick it and
Science.
see what it's all about.
Does it
And
taste like a
sometimes
rock,
it's like-
Steve?
Becoming canon.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's weird. I'm
It
used to
doesn't
rock.
taste like a rock. Yeah.
And sometimes licking things is how you become friends with people.
Oh, I love it. I'm adding that to my notes later. Um,
Thank goodness
I
we
think-
got the horror warning on here again. Totally appropriate for like her whole thing. We are rainbows and sunshine and lots of good licks. The end.
maybe we needed a breath of fresh air in the middle of Spooktober. Maybe that's what we needed.
It's gonna die.
That's what
brutally.
Siri thought. Siri just
Or
spoke
that.
up on that. Thanks, Siri.
Thanks, Siri. As you're in here and you're kind of like, it's a little bit dark in here, minus the faint chartreuse glow of Steve, and there is more stuff in here than you have ever seen in any ruins anywhere ever.
Wow.
What
This
this
is
place?
amazing.
This is like a
Have you guys ever seen anything like this?
No. I don't get out much, but this is pretty wild. Also, how did somebody get this much wood? I don't think I've ever seen this much wood in my entire life.
Beats me. I mean, I've scavenged a bunch, but I've never seen anything like this.
I just want to see if my tentacles stick to wood, because that's something I've never tried before.
More science.
Wood
Excellent.
thing?
Wood?
Wood
eh?
thing? Okay, sorry. I mean, it's pretty polished, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
If an octopus tentacle can hold onto a glass jar and unscrew it, then yeah,
Mm.
wood
For
should be okay.
sure. You can totally stick to the surfaces in here. They feel a lot different from what you're used to.
Yeah.
There's like a grain to it.
Cool. Okay.
And speaking of glass, You find this is a material that you would definitely not have much experience with. It's like crystal, but perfectly clear. There are some bits of it that have like slid on the floor, and they've clearly like broken somehow, and it's extremely sharp. And then there are some bits on shelves to either side of the room that have just slid forward. Seem to have different things in them.
I mean, I can't lick all the things. Somebody else has to lick something.
Can't you though?
Me?
I thought you were the official group licker of things. You're the one doing the science. I think you should keep going.
I don't know what these words are. You're saying science?
Mm. Mm.
We don't have that here.
Does not exist.
I know
Just
what ants are.
licking. Science is called licking in Delve.
You can lick them too, but it's not a good way to make friends with them because they're pretty small and they get inundated quickly.
Oh gosh.
Ants? No, they're huge and terrifying.
Yeah.
Ants have you been seeing?
You gotta get out more.
Oh well, I get out, but I think I'm not getting out to the same places. That's all. That is all. Okay, I'm gonna fly up to the shelves and see what I can see in there.
Okay. And what were you gonna say? Mally?
I'm just wondering if she is still tuned into the rumbling.
Oh yeah, it's still getting closer. Yep.
It's still getting closer. Okay. Is there anything about this place where Mally's other four senses would like definitely pick up on it, such as like a weird smell, a weird texture?
There are definitely
that you can recognize.
There are definitely a lot of different smells in here. You'd probably recognize the smell of wood, even though you don't see it a lot. Because it's like a plant smell, but like dried plant. And that kind of like sawdusty smell.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, why don't you roll again? Roll 3d6. Since we're looking for more good stuff. And I'm going to say Xephyr roll as well for looking on the shelves.
5, 5, 6.
Oh.
1, 5, 6.
Hang on. Okay. Mally, you smell something that is similar to the smell of like dry wood, but not exactly. And there are rooms that kind of go behind, and it's very dark back there. But you would be able to like tell that there are, like with the chartreuse glow, you'd be able to like tell there are openings in the walls. And this other smell is coming from like behind somewhere. And you get this like I'd say the thing that you think about, because you're familiar with like your own kinds of glyphs that you have now, but like you saw the glyphs on the outside door, they don't look familiar, but you know what it means to like make marks that mean something, and you see someone doing that with materials that don't seem familiar. There's like the sound of it is like a piece of grass scratching on like a soft, rough surface, like paper, which you wouldn't necessarily know what paper was back then, but you might have a version of it now. But so it's like that, and it's like the dark, faintly metallic smell of like inks and like the staining and the kind of like rich feel of thick paper. Thing like you would get that kind of impression. Zephyr, as you're kind of checking out the shelves as well, you see containers filled with different colored powders. And you don't know exactly what they are or what they would have been for, but your omen comes in almost like an irresistible urge to start mixing them together with oils and turning them into some kind of like paste or poultice, making kind of new colors by mixing them together, things like that.
Is there everything available to do that here? Like, are there oils and things on the shelf?
Would you recognize them as oils? Because of your omen.
I think you would. It wasn't necessarily good or bad. It's another one of those, like, a very neutral feeling, but in that, like, this thing just exists as what it is. And it
Okay,
is not inherently good or bad, but, like, you do see, like, there are some things behind another counter off to the side that would look more liquidy.
Okay, perfect. I will start trying to make this happen if I can find all the ingredients.
Okay.
Have I wandered into this like back area at this point?
Yeah, and I think as you go back there, thank you, Artemis. We appreciate you. As you go back there, the darkness doesn't seem to bother you, but you can kind of like feel around, and there's like a big wooden kind of rectangular shape up against the wall that was like the wall that you were facing when you came in. And when you went through these openings and kind of you like went around this wall, and there's like a big heavy wooden structure or box or something directly on the other side of that wall that you were facing. As you...
Would this structure be similar to a door or to a box?
It's like... I mean, just for the sake of everyone understanding what they're looking at, it's like a big desk, like a big wooden desk. And there's like... You would know, like, what a chair looks like, but you maybe have not seen a wooden chair because y'all just sit on, like, stone benches or cushions, like, of whatever you're able to make. And to see wood furniture would be very rare and very precious. So, like, just the fact that this exists in and of itself is a pretty epic find. When you get around to the front of it, it's like there's like little kind of silvery handles on the front. And as you start to look through, you kind of pull some things open and you see a light color, and when you touch it, it feels like it felt when you like had that sensation of thick paper. It's like very fine, very smooth, kind of creamy colored, and it's thick. It's like nice paper. If you are an art nerd like me and Elissa, you would know what I'm talking about, like probably some nice thick cold press watercolor paper, or some like fine printmaking paper. Reeves maybe. Anyway, I love paper. I'm so sorry. Anyway,
And that was when they went down a paper rabbit hole and never got out.
I had a
again.
printmaking professor who had a cat named Paper.
What a fucking nerd.
Beyond brand.
You know, we all have our things. And so you feel this like very thick, like stack of like pages in here. And when you pull them out, you can see that there are like markings made on them. But I mean, it's whatever this language is not the language you have, but there's definitely writing on it.
Okay.
What is Steve up to?
Oh, I was gonna make sure everybody else went first because I don't think Divina's gone.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Doesn't really matter. We're all in the same place, right?
Yeah.
All of this is kind of happening simultaneously anyway. But yeah, who would like to go first?
I mean, I can. Steve's still looking for friends.
Yeah, looking for friends. Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead and roll.
Just, he wants to add to his collection of friends. 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm gonna say, so Mally kind of went, I'm gonna say Mally went through like the right-hand door and to the room that was like on the opposite side of the back wall. Steve, as you're kind of walking around this front room and you go to the left side door and peek through to see what there is, you see like a doorway that loops around into that same room. And then you see another room that's just to the left there. And you see a humanoid in here who blends almost entirely in with the shadows in the corners. But you can see like the reflection in their eyes as if they have more like bestial eyes that can see more, and they reflect the light a very specific way. And so you can see that kind of like gold flash, especially as you step in and you are a source of light. And you kind of look back and you get this very clear kind of premonition or omen of making, like when you meet someone and you take the chance to like trust and see, and like you put yourself out there in a way that, like, if you really want to get to know someone, you have to be open yourself.
Steve
Like,
doesn't
you
know
get-
there are other options besides
What?
that. Steve does not know there are other options besides that.
Yeah. And it's, then it was, especially for Steve, would be a very familiar feeling of like taking a chance and like reaching out a hand to take someone else's hand.
Yeah, getting that vision, Steve is just gonna like wave and really, really loudly, like not intentionally so everyone else can hear him, but I'm sure most of the rest of them can hear as Steve's just like, "Hi, shadow friend."
Okay.
Steve, who are
Probably
you
nothing.
talking to in there?
Come meet the shadow friend.
I want to grab a piece of glass on
Okay.
my way in.
Great.
To meet the shadow friend with.
Yeah. Exactly.
Meanwhile, Mally is still at the desk in the other room that's like adjacent to this one and is just shaking
Yep.
her head because they don't really believe that there is anyone but them in this area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just like, you know what? Let Steve do Steve. Just continues rummaging through the desk.
Okay. Divina, as you step up to this doorway and Steve points to the shadow friend, you also see these kind of reflective eyes that are kind of looking towards you from the back corner of a room.
What the fuck?
Did the form move at all whenever I said that? And then, like, as Divina was coming over?
It has not come out of the shadows, but you see the eyes like darting.
Does it blink?
It hasn't yet, but it hasn't been very long.
Steve doesn't care.
Do you have a name?
Steve just like, yeah, my name's Steve.
Not you, dude.
I'm your friend, remember?
I've been here the whole time.
You said it. There's no takesy backsies.
I think when you say, do you have a name, friend? And Mally, you're in the other room, so you can't see anything as far as like what it looks like, because it's kind of behind and to the right of where you are, and you're still kind of rummaging through the desk. But you would hear a definitive like a squeaky sound. And it doesn't sound like the building creaking or anything.
No, it's the I feel like their head would snap up immediately because they would be like, "Oh, we're not alone in here." Okay.
There's somebody else in the shadows over here. Tread cautiously, maybe move slowly.
I think their name might be Squeak.
Can
That
Mally
sounds like a yes.
throw the sound back?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, just to see what happens.
It kind of like you two hear the sound that Mally makes, and then it like the head like turns like that, and it goes. "Arr."
Steve just like got his arms out, slowly walking forward. Like very, very
Steve's here for the hugs.
No, they're down.
So,
They're not up and aggressive.
Davina takes
They're
the
just,
step
out.
back out of the doorway a little bit further. If he's gonna advance on it, I'm gonna take a step back.
True friendship,
Okay.
right there.
Mally's gonna repeat.
I love how
sound
you're like
sound.
advance on it and Steve's like
Yeah.
hug.
Okay, so Mally's continuing the sound. Steve is walking in. Davina took a step back. What is Xephyr doing? Are you still like looking for liquids?
Yeah, attempting to make
Mixing paint.
emulsions of stuff.
Okay.
Zephyr's about to make their first potion. The end.
Just I'm gonna say roll 3d6 twice and tell me both of them.
Okay, so I got 2, 4, 4, and whoa, I lost. I'm just gonna re-roll another dice entirely.
Damn.
I don't know. where that one
Lucretia, is that you?
went. Right.
With the wings and the making of the potions?
Ah, yes.
Ooh.
Lucretia rearing their head again. Not wrong. 1, 3, 5. I'm gonna try to find my
Okay.
dice.
Meanwhile, I'm playing the exact opposite of Alaxin.
Right. Okay. Ooh.
Ooh.
Things. But also like you start to make like a paste and it's doing something and you can kind of you like feel this feeling of like wind that has grit in it, the way that it like polishes a landscape. Dokie. Okay.
Making the first
And
explosives. Excellent. Not a
Well,
potion.
you know, like, have you ever seen pictures of like, I think it's Antelope Canyon, is that right? Where it's like the wind has like picked up sand and polished these like amazing natural like passageways.
Wow.
And so
No.
you feel like flying, like when you're flying, but like dust flying in the air and rubbing up against stone and making like patterns and waves. And I'm gonna say with the second, or well, technically it was the first roll, but you also get this like while you're doing this, you do get a sensation of like nervousness and apprehension, but possibility. Another kind of more neutral feeling of like could go any way, could go any direction.
Fair. And thus begins my new potion making career. Excellent.
Right?
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Mally, you are making these sounds, like continuing to kind of mimic these like almost like chirps. And you can now see Steve is like walking past the doorway and they're like halfway into the room now, like arms open and
Because that's not intimidating, even remotely.
No, they're
Right.
down. They're down. They're not.
You don't see Divinia. But you continue to hear that kind of chirping from the corner. And it's
Okay.
getting more like it's a
More curious and less panic.
yes.
Gotcha.
And Steve, as you're kind of walking towards it, like fully open, it steps out and it's kind of this like it has a similar like humanoid kind of build, but its limbs have kind of a jagged look about them. Its eyes are big and yellow, and it has like kind of a wide like shorter face, almost like the drawings of goblins for Pathfinder where it's like a like shorter wider face. But it's
Or like
like the color of shadow. This whole being is just the color of shadow.
So it's like if Arnold from Hey Arnold was a cat and a shadow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Small SMOL void.
Didn't you say you had a square head?
Not square, but it is more
Oh.
like wide.
Ah, okay.
And like shorter than like our heads, our
Right.
human heads.
Okay, got it.
Does it appear to have thumbs?
Have thought?
Thumbs.
Thumbs. It does appear to have opposable thumbs.
Ooh, fancy. Steve is just like, thumbs up if you want a hug.
It kind of like does the thing that animals do when you talk to them and they don't understand you, and it like tilts its head several times, looking at what you're doing, hearing chirps. It like looks at Divinia in the doorway, and it sees you like standing there like this, and it goes,
Steve's gonna hug it immediately as soon as he sees like in that direction.
it like freaks out for a second, and then it's like, oh, this is like this symbol must mean
Steve is
grab
pretty
someone.
used to that. Steve is pretty used to that freak out, and then it's fine.
Just out of curiosity, does anyone in this party have a medical kit?
Oh, you can decide that. I
have a
think
bag.
I have a feeling Steve might need one before the end of the evening.
Zephyr did say they liked making people feel better, so maybe Zephyr would have something like that.
I have a bunch of stuff. It's what I do. Some of it might be medical.
Some of it might be weird. Don't know.
Who knows what it is?
And Zephyr is in the other room mixing a bunch of stuff together. So who knows what will come
I
of it.
might need medical aid
Everything
soon
else that's
too.
going on.
Yeah.
Zephyr invents gunpowder.
Exactly.
Oops.
Surprise!
Is that saltpeter?
Let's
Let's throw that in
regrow
there.
one arm.
Right? You give this thing a hug, and it starts like when the hug is over, you feel like a rumbling, like the storm or whatever that was is coming closer. Mally, you feel like those ripples of movement continuing to like approach, and the demeanor of this little person changes, and they start like they push you away, and they like start gesturing and like pointing. There's some kind of like ring, like metallic looking ring, and a door of some kind in the floor.
I think they want us to follow them somewhere.
Through the floor toilet?
Yeah, you should probably go first, Steve. You're befriending them, so.
That's true. I mean, will you go with me?
Well, see what happens when you go in first. I'll follow you if it's safe.
I feel like a
Yeah,
friend would go with me.
Well, I can call Zephyr or Malachite in if you need a friend to go with you.
I guess I've got Squeak.
Yeah. It pulls open a like hatch in the floor, and kind of slides into a very tight crawl space under there, like under the floor.
Definitely not a trap. Go for it, Steve.
Sounds cozy, actually, like home.
Very intimate. Steve's gonna crawl down there.
Okay.
Is there enough room for more than one person?
Yeah.
You mean more than two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There seems to be a whole crawl space like under the whole floor of this
Okay.
building.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And there's like little like almost like doorways or passageways that go like because it still has to be supported and everything under the floor, but there's and like some of it's kind of squished, you can tell, but there would be room for a few more people.
Okay. I'll make my way down there.
Okay.
Glass in
Can I
hand
ask-
still.
Can I ask if Mally is starting to like genuinely freak out about the approaching storm? Because I feel like she would become more and more and more agitated the closer that this storm-like thing got.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you had very bad feelings from it beforehand, and you're getting those very bad feelings again.
Okay.
And you would have heard them talking about, like, going down into this place. It wants us to go down here.
Is it possible for me to run, grab Zephyr, and also try to go down into this portal because I have this impending sense of panic of like it's too open, like we need to go now.
Yeah, you would have time to do that. They are coming quickly, but you feel like you have that kind of time.
Okay.
Do you still have the papers in your hand?
Yes, I have them.
Okay.
I'm like latched onto them, and I don't even realize I still have them in my hand because I've entered into like this panic mode.
Okay.
But like they may as well be glued to my hand. Like they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. When you get into a situation like that, you have whatever you have and you take it with you. Zephyr, what about you? Do you think they would gather up the stuff that they have?
I grab my ingredients for my potion slash explosive. Wow. Okay. And make a run for it with Mally.
Okay.
So you take the explosion mixture down into the hole with us.
100%.
Sick.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to explode yet. I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Great.
You know.
You get down in this crawl space, and as you do, this like little skittery creature the color of shadow pulls this hatch closed, and we're going to do what I kind of refer to as a ritual. I mean, we've been doing like individual checks and stuff, but as you're in here and there's this thing approaching, I'm going to roll for this storm creature, and then you're all going to roll together and tell me what all 4 of your rolls are, and we will see what comes of it.
The shadow is Squeak. It has a name.
Yeah, it does have a name now. I think you've adopted it at this point. Okay.
I rolled all 4s.
Interesting. Okay.
1, 3, 6 for Divinia.
Okay.
Go for it, Rick.
4, 4, 5.
Okay.
1, 6, 6.
Okay. Okay.
This is how we all die.
Mm-hmm. Take a note, buy my latest and only potion ever. In a basement in the ground. You're welcome, everyone.
I mean, in more than one sense of the word, friends go down together.
Yep.
Okay. And okay. Who had 166?
Me.
Xephyr.
Mhm.
445 was Steve?
Yep.
Okay. As you're down here, you know what? I'm gonna roll for the little critter, the little shadow. Squeak. Squeak. Also. Okay. As you're down here, you can feel like the pressure in the air change. You know, like when an actual storm is coming in, you could feel the air pressure change, and it gets very loud. There is the whole place is shaking, and for Mally and Divina, you get this sense of like the kind of anger that we associate with like nature, where it's just like raging, like a storm or like a volcanic eruption, just like this like very powerful, almost like fury. And that kind of hits you like a wave just before the actual storm creature hits the building. With like the whole place is shaking. The outside is made of stone, but the inside is wood, and you can feel it kind of like splintering around you. You all kind of grab on to one another, and
Group hug.
like parts of the floor above you start to crack, parts of the floor beneath you start to crack, but it just hits stone because that's how this building is wedged in here. And you feel like you can tell, the two of you especially can tell that the things that were above you, whatever protection this building had from storms, it is not holding up to the rage of a elemental creature. This thing is large, like the size of an actual storm, and it is tearing this place apart, basically. So whatever you grabbed that you had is what you got. Thankfully, though.
Steve is just like crying. He's like, "Why is the air angry?"
Aw. Oh. As you are kind of huddling down here while the building shakes and the storm is raging, Steve, I think because you have a glow about you and like you're afraid, but you're also feeling protective, you just made a new friend, and your glow starts to change again into this like warmer pink color, and that same kind of like radial thing that was happening with that toy now starts to spread out from you. And as you're doing that, like, or as that's happening, I should say, 'cause it's not, I don't think it's even like a conscious thing that you're doing, but you're just envisioning like a warm cave with a storm outside and a fire going, and you're like trying to be that for these people that you're with. And as that's happening, Xephyr, you're like you're in here with these like bottles of things, and you can hear like glass smashing above you and whatever you left out there is pretty much gone. But you have these like precious things that you're holding, and you have this like toy that's now also glowing from inside your bag because Steve is now glowing pink. And she's like this like radiating warmth. And you're like holding these precious things, and you're all kind of clutching onto each other, and you see these papers that Mally grabbed, and in a moment of urgency did not let go of. And you see, like, you can't read the markings, but you get that almost like that same flash that Mally had earlier of someone like taking these notes down, and you see like colored powders on the page with like notations and like a swatch of color and notation. And you're looking at it thinking like, these are recipes of something. And you, like, in the midst of this chaos all around you, you're able to see like you have a few of these powders and these oils that make up a recipe on like the top page that Mally has.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you could make it if you followed that.
Great.
Um,
That'll be up next.
yeah. You are in here for what feels like a very long time, but it's probably only like 10 minutes. And then it's like just as quickly as it swept in, it blows out, and you're left with that kind of eerie silence where it's like all the air leaves the room that happens after a bad storm comes through. And you're down here in this little crawl space, and everything is quiet again.
I mean, it's quiet except for Steve crying really loud.
What just happened to us? That was strange.
Squeak is like patting your head.
Oh.
Steve, was that friend mode that you turned on there when you were glowing a different color?
Yeah,
Wait,
how
I was
did you get that to happen?
I think it was my tears, maybe.
Fair enough. Bioluminescence, that's new.
No, I glow all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
But now you glow pink.
Yeah, it was interesting
feel
how
like-
Steve activated with that like ball thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you guys are
think I leveled
tuned.
up. Oh. What do you say, Kayla?
Oh, I just said I think you guys are tuned.
Agreed. Agreed.
What were you gonna say, Mally?
I feel like Mally would be gasping for breath right now because of the sensations of just overwhelming rage that they were inundated with, and then like between like the noise of the storm being so loud and the vibrations of everything around them literally breaking and crumbling both above and beneath them, I feel like they would be in just full panic because they like there's so much going on. They're so overstimulated. They don't know right from left.
Yeah, yeah.
You think we ought to get out of here?
I don't know if Mally is capable of moving.
It's a shame about all the damage. There's quite a lot of opulence up there. Things that I've never seen before.
I've never heard that word before. That's a fancy word.
I feel like
It's
Xephyr would be the one
it's
to
in my
get
brain
that.
for some reason. I don't know where that came from.
Your brain is an enigma, whatever that means.
Whoa, I haven't heard that one before. Where'd you get that word
think that-
from?
I think I
Making
just
up
made it
words.
up. Yeah.
We're just like scavenging words out of nothing.
You're like inventing language you didn't know existed.
Lost a lot of fancy wood furniture, gained some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Davina wants to open the hatch and, well,
Yeah.
if they can, and poke their head out and kind of like look around.
You see like the sides of the walls as you kind of come out of here. But the top of the building seems to be gone, and if you can see like out past where the wall has blown away a little bit, you can see like that storm creature has gone off, continuing on this
So did they
rampaging
like
path.
pull the roof off, or did it like cave in?
It like
It
pulled it
came
off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's open.
Yeah, so it's really
Okay.
open.
Wow. That was a lot of damage.
But that little crawl space is still intact.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Feels like it has a very
um,
open floor plan.
it's open floor plan now.
Yeah.
I think it's moved on if we want to possibly go in the other direction.
Are you all right for that, Molly? Are you able to move? I know this shook you quite deeply.
Their eyes are like glazed over, like they're not hearing anything anybody says right now. Like they are so stuck in their own head.
I think
Go
go ahead.
Could
Oh.
I roll to see
Uh-oh,
if,
we
as
lost all
I'm
that,
in
Rick.
this place, I get an omen
Uh,
of some form?
Sure.
I cannot
I'm
hear Rick at
sorry,
all.
I'm like things are breaking up, like sounds are breaking up. So I'm hearing little
Yeah.
bits of several people at once. And
I heard everybody except for Rick. It
Yeah,
was
same.
pretty clear other
Oh,
than
okay. Okay.
Rick's screen and video. Or
Yeah,
voice,
go ahead
sorry.
and roll, Mally. And I'll say roll twice and tell me what both of them are.
2, 4, 5, and 1, 5, 6.
Okay. Okay. Oh, and now I think Rick is frozen.
I don't think so.
Oh, wait, now I can.
Oh.
We're good.
It's pretty frozen, Rick.
Literally nothing changed. I don't know.
Oh, now it's fine.
Oh, now I can hear you just
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it looks like it
Weird.
caught up.
Everything's been fine for me. Like you guys, I can hear you all. I don't know.
Okay. As you kind of like you're sitting here, you are you are trying to process all, like, because you had like this bad omen hit you, and then like you feel like a hand on yours from Xephyr, and like they're saying something to you, and then you see this little like shadowy creature climbs back down and also like sees that like Xephyr is checking on you, and it also like does this and also kind of puts a hand on your arm, on your other arm, and is like and starts to like pull your hand just a little, not in like a forceful way, but like a you can follow me kind of way, because it knows that you don't speak the same language, but like this is how it can show you that like it's okay to come out now. And you can like see the light of the sky coming in. There's not usually a lot of sunny days, so it's kind of gray. But there is like daylight coming in, and you can see like the sky above instead of the ceiling.
Okay.
What were you trying to say, Steve?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry. It was like doing a glitchy noise, and I could only hear it sometimes.
That's okay.
Are you all climbing out?
Yeah.
And then, so as you come out
Fleet
and
might have to drag me out.
sure, I think they would do that. They would like encourage you with little chirps. And as you come out, Zephyr, you're even able to see more clearly, like the colors, and especially like now that the light of like daylight is above you, and like it's much more open in here. All of you would be able to see like, oh, there are like markings on these pages that mean something, and you have these jars, and you think you might be able to do something with them either here or when you get home, whatever you would prefer.
Perfect.
Can I ask, is there also this strange writing on the jars? Not necessarily the same writing,
Ooh.
but in like a similar fashion.
I'm gonna say yes. The labels would be kind of faded, but like this place was pretty protected by like the shape of the rocks. And so the bottles that you were able to grab do have markings, and you're able to match them up. And like the colors of the powders and the oils and things, you're able to match with the paper as well.
Mhm. All right. Well, I mean, if we're staying, I'm gonna start some experiments. But if we're not staying, I can wait till later. Hey,
I'll
everyone, what do you want to
say
do?
I think I've had about enough of this place personally. It was a little intense.
Okay, let's go.
all right. With that, you make the trek back home. You're able to get there before the dark of night fully sets in. And with the help of others to decipher these powders and the new abilities of Steve with this contraption and the abilities of the rest of you to like decipher these materials and work together to create the perfect blend, you're actually able to come up with something that works to fight off this sickness. People are able to start recovering. They're
Wow.
drinking water, eating food.
We're heroes.
And you're able to save your community. And with that, I think we will end for the evening.
Yay.
But why don't we go around and everybody introduce yourselves again? Just say like who you are, what you do, and then we'll probably find someone to raid, I
Mhm.
think. Yes. Why don't we go? I don't remember what order we went in last time, but we could go opposite order?
I think I went last, so I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm Kayla. I'm from the Potions and Potpourri podcast. Me and my gal pal Keisha just talk about D&D, TTRPG topics and stuff. Super casual and silly. You can find us wherever you get your shows. Find us under the Potions and Potpourri handle on all of your socials. And find me playing in a bunch of people's games sometimes.
Yeah. Cool. wants to go next? We don't have to go in opposite order. We can go.
Oh,
I
what the
don't know
order
if I
was.
remember what the order was.
I feel like I went before Kayla,
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's
go
Alana's
for it.
turn.
Yeah.
but so I'm Alana. I'm on here as Asparagus 93, and you guys can find me on the Backtear Discord as Dr. Asparagus. I don't really have anything else.
You do
Thanks for coming.
cool, awesome stuff.
True.
Cool, awesome stuff.
People can find the effects of your various work in the world around them.
In the world.
Mhm.
That's right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's next?
I think it was
Rick.
me. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Rick. I'm the game master for the Hammer of the Gods. I do stuff and things. It's a podcast with, some of these people sometimes, and I'm here a lot. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's true.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this more successfully on the way than I did on the way in. You can find me on Instagram at
The
Elissa
bar is
B.
here now.
Yes, it's going up
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
It couldn't have gone down.
No.
So
We
so,
started low.
Yeah. And, you can find me on Instagram at Elissa B _illustrations. Yeah, artist, art educator, etc., etc. And you can also find me here on the Backtear in Fixie's 5, but also a bunch of other one shots and mini campaigns and things like that.
Yeah.
Done.
And I am Emily. I'm Corvée on all the socials. Well, not all the socials, because screw Twitter. Or X or whatever it's called now. But several socials. And I write adventures, I play in games, I do little doodles. And I am on here sometimes. And don't forget to donate to Extra Life. We are taking donations for Extra Life all this month. It's a great charity. They do amazing things for kids who are going through some hard health times, and just like provide fun things for kids to do when life is rough. And so just make sure you donate if you can. Give them a follow. And thank you all for joining us. I think we're going to raid someone. I'm not sure who. Join us tomorrow night for Monster of the Week.
Thanks, Emily. That was a cool story.
Thanks,
Thank
Emily.
you.
That was fantastic. Yay.
Wasn't as
done,
creepy
Emily.
as we expected, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but to be fair, on the trigger
That's
warnings,
okay.
I saw that it says mild horror. So, I think we nailed that.
Yeah.
I was a little creeped out when we met Squeak, but
Yeah.
Fair. Until the hugging began, and then we're like, it's fine. It's fine.
even then,
No one got eviscerated. Everything's okay.
If anyone had stayed above, some bad things
No
would
one
have happened.
died.
Yeah. It was actually close. So
We power
one of
friendship our way through this. It was fine.
one of the rolls towards the end was well, while you were in the patch of grass and the storm was coming towards you, I got a roll for some pretty bad stuff. So it's a good thing you ran.
spooky. Well, yeah, thanks. That was really cool, Emily.
Yeah, thank you for playing in my game. Yeah, we're raiding, and at some point, somehow, I think we're still on. So I'm just gonna. Good night, everybody.